So me and my buddy Archie just binge watched Netflix's Amy Bradley is Missing documentary, and after talking to her family personally, we've uncovered deleted evidence that exposes Alister Yellow Douglas's shady role in her 1998 disappearance. So I'm Joseph Morris, and this is my sidekick Archie. Hit that like button and subscribe for more true crime that'll keep you up at night. And leave a comment cause we read every single one. So let's dive into the bombshell details Netflix left out, from a creepy interview slip up to chilling sightings that scream Amy's still out there. Amy Bradley, a 23-year-old from Virginia, vanished from the Royal Caribbean cruise ship Rhapsody of the Seas on March 23, 1998, during a family trip with her parents, Ron and Eva, and her brother, Brad. They were headed to Curaçao, and that night, Amy was dancing up a storm in the ship's nightclub with passengers and crew, including none other than Blue Orchid band member Alister Yellow Douglas. Door lock records show she got back to her cabin by 3:40 a.m., and her dad saw her dozing on the balcony at 5:30 a.m. But by 6 a.m., she was gone, leaving just her sandals and polo shirt. Her cigarettes and lighter were missing, hinting she left willingly. But here's where Yellow comes in big. A passenger, Lori Thompson, spotted Amy with him in an elevator between 5 and 6 a.m. And shortly after, Yellow was seen walking alone. That's hours after he claimed he left her at 1 a.m. His daughter, Amica, dropped a weird detail to the Bradley family. Yellow blinks a lot when he lies, so keep that in mind for his interview, which we're going to play next. In this interview, he also mentions the Viking Crown Lounge, a spot that'll come up later. So let's just roll the clip.
Once we finish play, we will go up to the lounge. What's it called at the time? What's the name of the club? You just came from the Viking Lounge, yeah. And we will hang there, but we would only hang until 1 o'clock, 5 to 1, 10 to 1, because as entertainers, we could hang, but we need to be out of the area by 1 o'clock. Yeah. She said her dad is an insurance manager or something like that. And he found out that she's gay. And he forced her to come to the cruise. And about 5 minutes to 1, I said, look, I have to go. I've got to be out of passenger area. And I left. The keys that we use, and I did not even know that until this thing happened. The card keys that we use for our doors to go into the room. So once I went down and we went into my room, it would read the time you came in. And I never really knew that. As I said, I was a young boy. All this technology was not known to me.
Yeah.
You know.
So they knew when you went back to your stateroom.
I only got to know that the following day.
So he starts off that interview saying that he could only hang out till 1 a.m. And at the very end, he had a slip up. And I don't know if you guys caught that, but I'll just replay that again. That he said, we went back into my room.
So once I went down and we went into my room.
So personally, to me, saying we went into my room, that was a huge red flag. I mean, it suggests Amy might have been in his cabin. He also goes on to say he was unfamiliar with the ship's key lock system because of his youth, which is laughable. This wasn't his first cruise. He'd been working on ships long enough to know the drill. So I reached out to Amy's brother, Bradley, about what stood out in this interview, and he was fired up. Brad responded, his change in timeline, the lie about my dad forcing her to come, total BS, and that constant blinking. Amica told us he blinks a lot when he lies. The problem with lying is you have to remember your lies, and he doesn't when he says he was in the room at 1 a.m. The ship's security officer's report clearly refutes that. You don't lie when you're telling the truth. So you can see in this report by a security guard who traced Amy's movements the night she disappeared, it's actually circled in red right here, and it says Amy was at the stargazing deck with Yellow between 2:30 and 3:30 a.m., seen by both bar staff and the bar manager. So if you're keeping score, that's at least 3 separate witnesses who are blowing holes in Yellow's timeline of events. And this photo shared by Amy Brothers Brad has him convinced Yellow knows more. Brad wrote, after Amy disappeared, Yellow covering his face when he sees someone taking a picture in his direction. Was he eavesdropping on Crystal Robert and Lori Rennick, pictured standing as they are discussing what they saw? Crystal and Lori were the ones who saw him in the elevator between 5 and 6 a.m. It's almost like Yellow doesn't want to be photographed because he does not want people to know that he was spying on witnesses. Yellow's sketchy behavior doesn't stop there. Complaints from other passengers paint a creepy picture. One woman wrote online, quote, "If you meet someone called Yellow, stay away. I have met another woman he dropped the same line on. Bass player in the band Blue Orchid," end quote. And this one was super chilling to me. So Yellow asked a woman to meet him at 6 a.m. at the Viking Crown Lounge. It turns out this lounge is a great meetup spot for nefarious activities because it's a secluded upper deck spot. And she says he wasn't supposed to be seen with passengers and there was no security people there. So he wanted to exchange phone numbers with her, but she was smart. She brought a friend along. Otherwise, she felt like, quote, he would have done something. So that's the same time and place he was linked to Amy. This sounds like a pattern, right? Like maybe this was his MO, to bring women up to this secluded spot and get them to come to his room with him. So me and Archie think that the conspiracy gets a whole lot darker when you look at how Amy was targeted from the moment she stepped on that cruise. Her mom, Iva, said a photo of Amy was missing from the ship's photo wall, where they posted passenger pictures. Earlier, Iva noticed a crew member watching Amy from a balcony like a hawk, almost looking for his prey. But the juiciest detail to me was Yellow's daughter, Amica, said he came home from that cruise with a bag full of photos of Caucasian women. Was Yellow the one snatching pictures off the wall, collecting them for some shady reason? Because sleuths speculate that Amy was lured to Yellow's room and given substances.
So my theory is that Amy Bradley met Yellow and he was like, "Hey, do you want some weed?" And she was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "All right, at 5:30, meet me at the elevator and we'll go up and we'll get it from my guy." And I think that she did that. She left the room, went up to meet him at the elevator because those girls saw them go up to the elevator together. And then he got her up there and like either drugged her or something. And then he smuggled her off the ship when they docked.
Another TikToker digging into this case dropped a wild theory. Amy's photo from the wall wasn't just stolen, it was taken to show a buyer what was for purchase.
The reason why Yellow still had Caucasian pictures in his suitcase is because those were the ones that weren't bought. Those are the ones that he couldn't sell. So that's why her picture was taken, to show the buyers, hey, this is what we have. Would you like it? And they bought her. So they trafficked her. You got to think, it's a multi-million-dollar business running a cruise ship. Within that, you're going to have little itty-bitty parties that are going to be doing other things to make money off of. Not saying the entire cruise ship is part of it, but people that work within the cruise ship. And I guarantee you there was at least one vacation goer on that boat that was a part of the selling and the buying. Maybe it was her neighbor, who knows? But if you notice how the one girl said that there were not a lot of young women or young people that were on that specific cruise, well, there you go. Amy was. They took a liking to her. She was little. She was easy to move. She's an easy target.
So the Caribbean was a trafficking hotbed in the 1990s. The likes of Epstein were active in the area, and cruise ships were prime hunting grounds for predators. The Bradleys begged the crew to lock down the ship, but it docked in Curaçao, and a Charlie drill sweep only happened at 9 a.m. after passengers had already left. Her mom pleaded to stop the gangways, but the crew cleaned the Bradley's cabin before the FBI could search it, wiping out potential evidence. Ex-users are convinced Amy was smuggled off, maybe in a suitcase, and Archie thinks that the cruise line's inactions smells like a cover-up, and he has a really good nose too. The sightings of Amy keep this case alive. So in August 1998, Canadian tourist David Carmichael saw a woman with Amy's distinctive Tasmanian devil and gecko tattoos on on a Curaçao beach, escorted by 2 men, one looking like Yellow. In 1999, U.S. Navy veteran Bill Hefner met a woman in Curaçao brothel who whispered, "My name is Amy Bradley, please help me," saying she left the ship to buy substances and got trapped. He reported it in 2002 after seeing her photo, but the brothel had burned down. In 2005, Judy Moore met a distressed woman in a Bridgetown, Barbados restroom, surrounded by 4 men talking about an illegal deal. When alone, the distressed woman whispered to Judy that she was Amy from Virginia. Amy asked the men she was with if she could see the children. So some think she has kids in Barbados and the men are using them to control her. That same year, a photo of a woman named Jazz on a Caribbean adult website was confirmed by the FBI to be Amy, her features lining up perfectly. Then there's the IP spikes on AmyBradleyIsMissing.com during family anniversaries, Thanksgiving, Christmas, her mom's birthday, hinting Amy's trying to reach out. These hits all came from the area where Judy saw Amy in the washroom in 2005, Bridgetown, Barbados. So this documentary gave me and Archie chills, and I think Yellow's at the heart of it, but the role of Kirk Detweiller, the ship's captain, raises red flags too. He defended Yellow as a good guy, brushing off theories as grasping at straws, which has ex-users convinced they were working together. But one thing's for sure, me and Archie have never been on a cruise, but we won't ever go on one now, especially with the Royal Caribbean. If you're hooked on true crime like this, subscribe to become a Joey, like this video if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment because I read every single one despite the advice of my therapist.